one of the things that I spend a lot of time talking about on my channel and even in my book is intersexual relationships. You've been married for a long time. What would you, is there any one thing, are there things that you would identify as success mechanisms that has allowed that to work out for you? Actually, let me ask you this question first. When you hear the soundbite, happy wife, happy life, what comes to mind, first of all?
Oh, it's stupid. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Okay.
I'll tell you why it's the dumbest thing in the world.
Build on that. Yeah.
Other people's happiness does not make you happy. Like, everybody else's happiness is their responsibility, and your responsibility is to be happy. Like,
how
the
did
world doesn't get easier. Oh, just through the auditing of the narrative of the stories in my head. You know, it's just like realizing that people respond to different things that were completely different than mine, that had nothing to do with the actual facts or circumstances. It had to do with their personal reality inside of their brain, their hallucinations about how the world's supposed to be. So it's like, the more you unpack that, you realize, like, oh, other people's happiness include, dude, I tell my kids daily, your emotional health is not my responsibility. I am here to support you. I'm here to work with you, but you are responsible for your mental health. Like, that's how much I believe that my job, you know, my life isn't going to be dependent on, and like, if my kids are entrepreneurs or complete failures, it does not, personally, it's not going to be a reflection on me as a father. I knew I showed up and I did the work, and my intentions were there and the activities were there. How somebody else responds to that, that's on them. And I think the moment you can disconnect that, you live a completely different life, where my wife's happiness is not going to, it doesn't make me happy. Now, do I want to become the person who can support people around me in their journey? Hell yeah, man. Like, this is the part where, you know, I shared this recently, where my dad, you know, we've always had a really cool relationship. I went through chaos and hell with him as a teenager. And then he actually moved parts of town for me to get sober and stay sober. And he bought all these computer books for me. And he's my hero. But there's always like this awkwardness. Like, it's like he never, and for all the boys, you know, two other brothers, he never did any one-on-one stuff, which sounds crazy to some people, but we just thought it was normal. Mm-hmm. And about a year and a half ago, he finally said yes to come and spend time one-on-one with just me for 2 days. Mm-hmm. And then in that moment, time together, I would ask him, you know, do you want to work out? Do you want to come to? Oh, no, I don't want to slow you down, blah, blah, blah. And then I got in a major snowbiking accident with Brad. I fell off a 25-foot cliff and took my handlebars in my femur. Ouch. And so I was injured. So I asked my dad, do you want to come to the gym? We were in Nashville at one of my events he came to. And he goes, okay, young buck, since you're injured, you know. And my dad worked out with me every day for 4 days in a row, every morning. And that was the first time. I'm 43, dude. He said no to me for 20 years. And I share this because I wanted to, if I didn't become the person who could show up and be consistent and create the space and be willing to ask and never turn that off, I would have never been at a place where now he said yes. And I just think, like, other people's happiness is their responsibility, but in the same breath, my responsibility is to become the best version of myself, so I am prepared to support them when they're ready for me. Like, my family, my mom still struggles with different things. And I feel like my whole family has written my mom off. She's 70 years old and they've written her off. She sleeps with a sleep apnea machine. She's very unhealthy. She can't even walk upstairs. And I still hold the belief that she could absolutely transform her life. And until she takes her last breath, there will never be a moment of belief where I don't believe that. Because I just know I've seen it happen thousands of times for people. Doesn't matter what stage of their life, young or old, in a moment, things can absolutely change and you can see miracles happen. But if I'm not in a position when she's ready to make that decision to support her because I didn't do the work, then that, I think, would be the biggest fallacy. So it's not my responsibility if my wife's happy, but it's my responsibility to become the person that does the work, the trauma, the you know, all that stuff, that have the financial resources. Dude, we have a family coach. We fly her in from California to come live with us and look at how we interact and give us feedback. That's not inexpensive. I get it's a luxury, but I also realize that's why I get up and do what I do, is so that whatever I need, if I get a call that my kid's sick and there's a $2 million operation that is done in Guatemala and I can't pay for that, I can't even imagine what that would feel like.
What is
there's a
family coach? What does a family coach do? Like, what was the big aha moment for you with that?
Oh, there's so much. I mean, think about this, Rich. There's the story you tell people that happened, and then there's what really happened. So having her wake up in the morning, watch us interact, see the moments, see the this, take us individually, do some one-on-one, take the boys one-on-one, ask them questions, probe, integrate those learnings, come to dinner with us, like the whole shebang was just really valuable. The biggest one I'll share with people that it sounds subtle, but really changed the way, like literally on a daily basis, we change our behavior, was called takeoffs and landings. Meaning that when I leave, I used to just go. It's like this morning I had a run with my buddy Rich. In the past, I would just leave. I would just go at 7 in the morning. I'm meeting my buddy. I'm going to go for a run. I'll come home. Now, because of learning this, when I go to leave, I go find my wife. I give her a big hug. I tell her, I love you, babes. I'm heading out for a run with Rich. I'll be back at 8. That subtle thing means so much to her. And to me, when I come home, it feels great because there's a landing that everybody goes, hey, what did you do? How are you doing? Right? Versus just staying busy doing their thing. I mean, it sounds so subtle, but it's like these little tweaks that can have such a beautiful impact. And that's just the small stuff. She did so much other things as well. But we've been working with her for like 5 years. I mean, and I have an emotional coach for my kids. I mean, I'm just a big fan of investing in the world's best to teach us the skills that I think are force multipliers for huge impact on our lives.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.